Good morning, children. In this module, I am going to teach you about the sampling and non-sampling errors. Statistical investigations are carried out for drawing some inferences about the population. Errors may occur at any time of the investigation. It may be at the time of framing the sample, or in the collection of data, or at any other purpose or process of investigation. So here we are going to address two types of errors, namely sampling errors and non-sampling errors. In sampling method, we collect data from only a small fraction of the population. After drawing the inference by studying the data, we generalize the result to the whole population. That is, we are drawing inferences about the population on the basis of a few observations. Errors may occur in the process of selection samples. If the samples are selected wrongly, sample value may differ from the population value. So the error arises due to drawing inferences about the population on the basis of wrong sample is known as sampling errors. On the other hand, non-sampling errors are those errors occurs due to factors other than wrong sample selection. Non-sampling errors are those creep in due to human factors such as the errors in data acquisition, non-response errors, and sampling bias. More specifically, the non-sampling errors may arise from one or more of the following factors. The following factors are data specifications being inadequate, the statistical units may be inappropriate, methods of interview may be unsuitable, investigators may be inexperienced, or the incorrect responses from the respondents, errors in data processing, and errors occurs during presentation and the tabulation of the data. And this error is more serious than sampling error because sampling error may be minimized by taking large samples, but sampling errors cannot be minimized even by making samples large or small. So this is what is non-sampling errors. Next, we will discuss about the important agencies of secondary data. The first one is the Census of India. It provides the most important and complete demographic record of population. These are conducted every 10 years. The census official collects the information on the various aspects of the population, such as sex ratio, literacy, migration, etc., which are used to interpret and analyze to understand many economic and social issues in India, and accordingly, plans and the policies are formulated. So this is the first important agencies of the secondary data. In our earlier modules, we have discussed about what is primary and what is secondary data, right? Yes. So here, this is one of the important agencies of providing the secondary data. The first one is Census of India, and it is the most important as well as the complete demographic record of the population, and these are conducted every 10 years. These officials collects the information and transmits to others. Then, which is the second important agencies of the secondary data? That is NSSO. It is termed as NSSO, National Sample Survey Organization. It was established in 1950 under the Ministry of the Finance to conduct the surveys and collect the data on the estimates of literacy, school enrollments, maternity, PDS, etc. to publish surveys through reports. NSSO conducts continuous surveys on various problems in successive rounds. This is the second important agency of secondary data. So these are the two important agencies, the Census of India and the second one, the National Sample Survey Organization. These are the source of collecting the secondary data. Next, we will discuss about the other type of random sampling, that is restricted random sampling. This is a method of sampling is described which is a compromise between the systematic sampling and stratified random sampling. It has less potential for bias than systematic sampling and also avoids the practical problems associated with stratified random sampling. This restricted random sampling is of mainly three types: stratified sampling, systematic sampling and cluster sampling. So if we talk about the stratified sampling, this method of sampling is sometimes used if there are wide variations in site performance within a certain geographical location or type of distribution. All the sites are grouped into segments, each having some uniform, easily identifiable characteristics. Each segment is sampled separately using unrestricted random sampling methods. So this is what is actually stratified sampling. When the population is heterogeneous, stratified method is used. Under this method, the whole population is divided into various groups or stratas of units, such that units in each class possess similar characteristics. For example, if you are studying about the consumption pattern of students in your school, the population comprises the whole students studying in various standards of your school. And a student studying in standard 5 and a student studying in standard 9 may have different consumption patterns. That is, for these characteristics, the population is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means it's not similar in outlook. The differences will be there. That is the opposite of homogeneous. Homogeneous means uniform in character, uniform. Next, we will discuss about the systematic sampling. It's a statistical method involving the selection of elements from an ordered sampling frame. The most common form of systematic sampling is an equiprobability method. In this approach, progression through the list is treated circularly. A systematic sampling is formed by selecting one at random and then selecting the rest at evenly spaced intervals until the sample size has been reached. That is systematic sampling. And the last one is the cluster sampling. This type of sampling is carried out in several stages. Suppose if we want to study about the employment of the households, we'll divide the entire state Kerala into different zones, and the zones into districts, and the districts into villages, and the villages into each from selected villages the households of required size. So since several stages involved in the cluster sample. So my dear children, I hope this session is clear for you.